it's your guy Ty, and welcome to the first episode of Listen Black. Get ready to listen to the best Black authors, publishers, narrators, and audiobook producers in the industry. These episodes are going to be packed full of information, interesting individuals, and quirky personalities across the African diaspora. Episodes will be released every Tuesday and Thursday. On Listen Black Tuesdays, we'll play a retail sample of an audiobook that we're loving that week, along with a helpful tip or an actionable step that you can take to help further your publishing and audiobook career. Thursdays are all about the interviews. Our special guests provide insights for navigating the industry and share their own personal stories and journeys. Well, you've listened to me ramble for long enough. Let's get on with the show. All right, y'all. So I get asked quite often, what do I need to do in order to produce an audiobook? And I've broken this down into 3 phases. We have a pre-production phase, a production phase, and a post-production phase. And before you start your audiobook journey, you should learn about all 3 phases so you are prepared for what's coming. Today, we're going to talk about the pre-production phase. This is where you decide the voice of your narration, prep your manuscript for audio, and then choose your distributor. Now, when you're choosing a voice, you have to think about 2 factors. Is it fiction or nonfiction? If it's a fiction title, you should know what your characters sound like. Think about the voice, think about the personality, because that's going to be really important when you're choosing the narrator. Does your book have multiple characters? If it's fantasy, are there sounds and multiple timbres that are very important to the character development? This is going to be absolutely key in making sure you hire the right person to narrate and get the best outcome on the back end. Now, if this is a nonfiction book, it's all about the tone and cadence of the narrator. So let's say it's a biography. The narration is likely not going to be very dynamic or animated, right? You're going to have someone that is constant, very assured and reassuring in their tone. And you're going to want to make sure that it's not something that's going to be boring. Like, it's not going to be, crazy, right? But it still has to be engaging for the listener. So the next thing you're going to want to do is to prep your manuscript for audio. After working on this book day in and day out, the last thing you want is to send something that is not recordable, right? So here's a great place to start. You want to make sure that you change all references about reading. This is mostly in nonfiction. So let's say as you read this book, it should be as you listen to this book, right? We're going to do that throughout the whole book. Then we're going to create a pronunciation list. We have uncommon words. We need to make a list of those, make lists of names, regional locations, businesses, like call the town library that is like this obscure place, right? So when you go through, you're not having people come back in your comments after your audiobook's been produced saying, this town's pronounced Dacula, not Dacula. You know, that's really, really important. And then proofreading. Look, you're gonna miss stuff. It's why I always tell people to record their audiobook before going out to print, but make sure that it's proofread, because a narrator will charge an editing charge if there's a copious amount of errors in the text that have to be fixed. Remember, when you hire a narrator, their job is to read what is on the page. It is not to edit your book. And the last thing you want to do is choose your distribution platform. Now, I'm going to admit, I'm a bit biased. I think you should be distributing with Listen Black. And if you are interested in that, you can always send us an email at booking@listenblack.com. That's booking@listenblack.com. And we'll be happy to walk you through that process. But if you don't, there are alternatives out there. The most popular one being ACX and Amazon. And then you have Findaway. And those are 2 of the main indie distribution networks. And that's our tip for this Tuesday. Phase 1, do your pre-production. So you're going to choose your voice, you're going to prep your manuscript, and then you're going to choose a distributor. And this information has been put in a really nice PDF by one of our sponsors, TyDef Studios. So I will put a link in the description to that PDF. Now, this week's Listen Black Tuesdays title is Life in the Purple Kingdom. And yes, all of my Prince fans, it is exactly what you think it is. It is a autobiography, not by Prince himself, but by Brown Mark, who is the bass player for The Revolution. And if you read the book, you find out that he's way more than a bass player. Brown Mark is a phenomenal songwriter, producer, and just overall great guy. I did have the honor and privilege of being able to direct this title, having 4 days to pick his brain during breaks and in between certain takes and laughing and like getting the real story behind a lot of the things that, we see on stage. It was just incredible. So here's a sample of My Life in the Purple Kingdom by Brown Mark.
Breathe, man, breathe. I'm saying to myself, it feels like I'm underwater. The Los Angeles Coliseum's at-capacity crowd is so huge that I can hear the roar of it from inside the limo with the windows closed. The driver slows the car, rolls up to the security gate. I inhale deeply, filling my lungs. We've arrived. The band looks worried. This is a rock and roll crowd. I don't know, guys. This is crazy. They don't know our sound. I tip my head back and look up through the sunroof, where all I see is dirty blue Los Angeles air. I'm so far from home. We're led to rows of white tents all set up for different purposes. Hair and makeup, press, wardrobe. The time is passing quickly with an anticipation for the performance. This is Hollywood, 1981, and the biggest show of my life. A production assistant comes to our tent with an announcement. You guys are up next. We're opening for the Stones, the Rolling Stones. Am I imagining this? Only a few weeks ago, I'd been playing for a crowd of 50 in a small Minneapolis place like the Nakarima Club or Elks Lodge or Sylvia's with my band Fantasy. And now I'm going to be performing with Prince in front of 90,000 people at the Los Angeles Coliseum. A shiver runs through me. It's a whisper on my spine, a hint of something happening that is far bigger than I am. I'm somewhat afraid, yet very excited. I close my eyes, and I'm filled with the feeling that we're standing on the brink of something extraordinary, something life-changing, and I want to absorb every bit of this moment. I hear the drummer Z say something to me, but what? I can't tell. Everything sounds so muffled and strange. Then I feel him tap me on the shoulder. Brown, you all right? I open my eyes. Dez, Lisa, and Fink are all looking at me. Yeah, I'm all right, I say quietly, smiling a little to reassure them. I glance up at the sky again. It's scorching hot. I'm lightheaded and floating in another dimension. It's all so surreal. I see the Coliseum bathed in red light, and the sun is starting to dip towards the horizon. I can feel the warmth radiating from those walls, so massive, majestic, and imposing. So much history here. And now the sky is deepening, changing from red to blue to deep lavender, and the people are shimmering in the heat. Then the fire hoses are turned on them. They twist and cry with bliss, feeling the cool water as the sky melts into wet droplets of purple rain. Picture this. We step out on the stage. We are all on the threshold of a dream.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so that was My Life in the Purple Kingdom by Brown Mark. And I'm telling you, go get this book. It is phenomenal. It's anywhere you can find audiobooks at this time. So, and look, I don't get any cut. I directed it, but directors don't get any cut or anything. So I literally don't get anything out of this except for the glory of sharing this wonderful title with you. That's gonna do it for our first episode. Man, this was crazy. I've been thinking about this concept for a little over a year, and to finally have this first episode done and out is just phenomenal. I really hope that you all can stick around, stick with us, and grow on this journey. With that said, this is your guy Ty. This is the Listen Black podcast, and I can't wait to share the next episode with you on Thursday. Stay safe, choose love, and stay black.